We all seem to regard most classical composers as well-behaved workers and respectable servants of the court that only concern themselves with distinguished and righteous harmony. Although that was true for the vast majority, it didn't apply to the one and hopefully only Don Carlo Gesualdo, who lived some 400 years ago. His life and legacy has left us with terrifying yet mesmerizing music, as well as a very dark and macabre history. I remember studying one of his madrigals back in college for a very good reason. The music theory revolving around Gesualdo's music is extremely progressive and quite shocking, especially at the time. In fact, many modern composers such as Stravinsky and others have regarded his music as nothing short of fascinating. Typical music just after the 1500s was written for church, which made some composers like the famous William Byrd pioneers of Renaissance music. If you listen to his famous Mass he wrote, now you've just heard very beautiful and smooth harmonies with structured contrapuntal lines. This was the norm in Renaissance music. It was very well crafted and mathematical in terms of precision. Now going on from there, listen to this excerpt from Gesualdo's Moralasso. You might be wondering, what the hell's going on here? Why does this make everybody's skin crawl? Looking deeper into the theory, we can see that the piece would appear to be an A minor-ish. There are no accidentals. You have a G sharp that would lead to an A, so it could either be C major or A minor. In this situation, the related keys would be D minor or E major, which are very close to A minor because they only differ by one accidental. But if you take a look at the first chord, that's a C sharp major chord, which is extremely far from A minor because it has a lot of accidentals. And then the following chord is an A minor chord. So that transition is why this sounds so strange and creepy and almost menacing. The chromatic shifts and disturbing melodies makes this piece of music way ahead of its time. Another element that makes Gesualdo's music fascinating is that this piece was composed 21 years after his murderous rampage on the grisly night of October 16, 1590. On that night, Gesualdo discovered his wife, who was actually his first cousin, in flagrant with the Duke of Andria, Don Fabrizio Carafa. He then killed both of them on the spot with his sword, slashing through their limbs and mutilating their sexual organs. After this, he brutally murdered the baby boy, who was either his or Fabrizio's, by swinging him around and bashing him against a wall to death. He also killed a nanny who tried to protect his oldest son. Gesualdo was then stopped by his own servants before he was able to continue this rampage. So yeah, that happened. Oh, and by the way, not only does he get away with it because he was a noble, but he also remarries. But his troubles don't end there, as he gets depressed years later and has himself regularly beaten by his own servants. He also gets involved in a witchcraft trial. In the end, he dies beaten to death by his servants in a masochistic rampage. There's always been a long debate about whether music should be given scrutiny because of who wrote it and what conditions it was written in. I personally think that music should always be its own separate thing, immune to boycotting unless it explicitly promotes unethical ideals. In the end, Gesualdo's music will always fascinate and haunt us with its creepy and revolutionary quality.